Hello, pharmacists and pharmacy team members. My name is Caitlin Malone, and I'm a pharmacist who currently helps patients manage their diabetes. This video provides key information about the Dexcom G7 continuous glucose monitoring system. Dexcom G7 is the latest innovation in CGM technology with an all-in-one app. Compared to Dexcom G6, G7 has one fewer component with an all-in-one sensor transmitter. The G7 wearable device is 60% smaller than the G6 device and features a faster 30-minute warm-up time. With Dexcom G7, your patient can simply view at-a-glance continuous glucose readings directly on their compatible smart device or Dexcom receiver with no required scanning or finger sticks. Note that the Dexcom G6 receiver is not compatible and your patient will need a G7 receiver or use a compatible smart device. The Dexcom G7 system is indicated for the management of diabetes. Dexcom is indicated for children ages 2 years and older, and Dexcom G7 has no limitations for use during pregnancy. Dexcom G7 has exceptional accuracy and provides continuous glucose readings every 5 minutes with no scanning or finger sticks required. Dexcom G7 can be used non-adjunctively without a blood glucose meter to make diabetes treatment decisions. Dexcom G7 features an all-in-one app experience that provides a simplified design and real-time and retrospective insights. The app will provide a comprehensive picture to patients on their glucose management, along with access to detailed glucose reports. Dexcom G7 continues to provide customizable alerts that notify patients when their glucose levels are above or below their set levels. This means that they can immediately act to correct them. The Dexcom G7 system also continues to have a predictive urgent low soon alert that warns patients if their glucose is predicted to be at or below 55 milligrams per deciliter within 20 minutes. Both of these powerful features may empower patients to take appropriate action before a potentially dangerous hypoglycemic event occurs. Dexcom Share feature is available just like it was for Dexcom G6 for any patient using a smart device with Dexcom G7. The Dexcom Share feature on the Dexcom G7 app allows glucose data to be shared with up to 10 followers, which may provide peace of mind when away from loved ones. Followers can view the Dexcom G7's user trend arrow showing glucose speed and direction, as well as receive alerts. Notifications can be customized, and changes to settings in the Dexcom Follow app don't affect the Share's Dexcom G7 settings. When you receive a prescription for the Dexcom G7, it should contain the name of each component and refill quantities. Each prescription will include a sensor with an optional receiver. The sensor transmits glucose readings from just underneath the skin directly to the receiver or G7 app on a compatible smart device. Unlike with Dexcom G6, no separate transmitter is needed with Dexcom G7. It is built into the sensor. One sensor can be used for up to 10 days, and each box has one sensor. Therefore, 3 sensor boxes should be dispensed for a 1-month supply. The receiver is a display device that shows glucose levels and trends. Some patients may opt to use a smart device in place of the receiver. If a smart device is used in place of the receiver, only the sensor boxes for Dexcom G7 need to be dispensed to the patient. The receiver is not optional for Medicare patients. Medicare patients will need both the sensor box and the receiver box. The Dexcom G7 Start Here and App Essentials are found within the user box with instructions in both English and Spanish. These are the comprehensive instructional resources on setting up and using the Dexcom G7. If you have more questions around dispensing Dexcom G7 or its components, you may be able to access a Dexcom G7 user guide online at dexcom.com/G7. Here are a few steps and tips for you to help your patients get started. With only 2 components, Dexcom G7 simply requires inserting the sensor and then pairing with the receiver or G7 app on a compatible smart device. First, patients need to prepare their Dexcom sensor site. Instruct patients to choose an appropriate sensor site based on their age group. Remind patients to avoid areas with loose skin or without enough fat. Next, instruct them to wash their hands, clean the sensor site with rubbing alcohol, and let it dry. Next, patients need to insert a sensor using the applicator. First, instruct them to unscrew the cap of the applicator. Then, press and hold the applicator firmly against the skin until the clear safety guard is pushed in. Finally, push the button on the side of the applicator. To ensure a secure seal, instruct patients to rub firmly around the patch 3 times and gently press on the top of the sensor. Be sure to tell patients to screw the cap back on and save the applicator, as they will need its pairing code. If using a Dexcom receiver, press the power button for 3 to 5 seconds and then follow on-screen instructions. This is where they will be prompted to enter the sensor code found on the applicator. If using a compatible smart device, download the Dexcom G7 app and follow the setup instructions via the app. Dexcom G7 now features a reduced 30-minute warm-up, which is significantly shorter when compared to the 2-hour warm-up of previous generations. Patients will also have a 12-hour grace period at the end of each sensor session to replace their sensor when it is convenient for them. Note that patients won't receive alerts or readings during the warm-up period. Instruct them to keep their receiver or compatible smart device nearby while the sensor is warming up. For complete instructions, please review the Dexcom G7 user guide. Dexcom G7 is available for order through major wholesalers such as Cardinal, McKesson, AmerisourceBergen, Dakota Drug, and Smith Drug. If patients have additional questions, they can call Dexcom Technical Support or Dexcom Care at any time. At Dexcom, we are committed to better outcomes for patients, caregivers, and clinicians. Thank you for your time and interest in the Dexcom G7 CGM system.